everyone. How are you today? I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3 this weekend. As you can see, I was playing in the season and have a nice full set of monk gear. And I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I made this video today here to talk to you about a certain subject that I like to talk about that I feel hasn't been put out there, and most videos that I do don't really cover this. Um, uh, I got this idea for a video when I was talking to my peers about video games, and it happens a lot of times. A lot of times when I talk about video games with them, a lot of them I would consider myself to be a pessimist when it comes to video games. Well, not a pessimist, a person who looks at video games, and I kind of have my ear to the ground. I listen to video games, I watch video games, and that's pretty much what I do in my free time, aside from watching several shows on Netflix or something. I'll be listening about video games, the new games that are coming out and stuff, and I consider myself to be quite well known in the video game world. And if you have like for example, if you have if you're looking at getting a video game, new one that's coming out, I can tell you whether or not what I've heard is good, what I've heard is bad, and I can give you reasonable objectives whether you would want to buy the video game or not. And you can sit there and judge these points and whether you want to buy it yourself. Now, being very judgmental of video games, I tend to point out a lot of the video game shortcomings in these conversations that I have with people in regards to them saying like, oh, I really like this game, or oh, I think this game looks awesome, and I'll point out like a shortcoming. Like, for example, microtransactions, uh, lack of content, missing content, or just overall buggy gameplay. Just really much anything negative about the game. And to my surprise, this doesn't have to be a game that's came out or anything. This could be a game that's currently out, and I'll post this negative point about the game. And then what upsets me the most is whenever I see these people come and defend this game. Uh, I feel that most of the people out here are just, the average consumer. They see what media tells them, and that's pretty much it. Or and have like, word of mouth to friends, but that's pretty much it. They don't have, I feel, as much of a ear to the ground in the world of games as I do. And it's not me just like being, you know, I think I'm above them or anything. It's just, this is what I do. So I kind of try to stay on both sides, the good and the negative. And because of this, I've actually avoided some bad video games, such as Star Wars Battlefront. But when they defend this, they'll sit there and defend this game. For example, uh, when I was talking about Halo 5 with someone, I was slacking them off for because they have a giant microtransaction store inside the game, an unnecessary microtransaction store. That would it's different from DLC because microtransactions have unlimited profitability, and they could sit there and just squeeze more money out of the consumer. And the person who I talked to said, well, that was okay because they're not charging you for map packs. I'm not saying the person's argument's wrong, but I believe the person isn't quite thinking in the same mindset as me, which is the point of this video, which I would like to talk about, is the mindset of who they are defending. You see, when these normal average consumers or like, what I consider the normal gamer. Talk Goes to the video games or talks about video games. They only know what they hear and what they see, and what they believe is that the people who make this video game are just like them. They are like this guy right here. They are just average people just like them who love video games who and enjoy making video games, which is partially true. A lot of the people inside the video game developers are people who enjoy them, people who played them growing up and say, you know what, I really like this. I'm really passionate about this. I'll take up video design, game design, and artwork, and I'll make this make video games. And they do get in there. Most of the people on the ground floor and basically the grunts are the people just like them. They are gamers. However, that's not who I see the developers as. That's not who I see them defending. For you see, though they may do all the manual labor, these gamers, the people above them are the people who actually design what goes into the final product. They push what goes into the final product. Those grunts on the floor may come up with some designs for the game, some artwork for the game, but they'll bring it to a meeting, and they'll have a meeting, and basically they get told what to do at the end result of these meetings, and be like, okay, this design works, we're going to go with this, this is how we're going forward. So even though these gamers who are also designers, even though they are the gamers, they don't really do that much. They only do what they're told after putting in, I guess, a small amount of work. And then they say, okay, we're going to go with this, and this is what they're going to do, by the upper executives of the company. In previous and long ago, when video games were first made, the upper executives were also these gamers. They were also people who enjoyed video games and loved video games and want to make video games. And they still are. However, in today's growing market, they want to make the most profit out of their video games. And do you know who they hire to help them maximize their profits in video games? They hire suits. That's right, guys like this smug asshole who know absolutely nothing about video games, who have their freaking fancy business degrees, who will sit there and be just like in those gamer VIPs' ear and just whisper sweet nothings, as they will be like, you know, it'd be really great what you could do right here. You can put in a microtransaction store. And they will design these games in that a way that what they do is they try and go to the edge of what they can do. They will try to put in all these monetization items inside this game, and they'll push it as far as they think they can go without upsetting the gamers or the average consumers of the product. Like, for example, with Battlefront, they thought they would be like, oh, well, this game, we can make this game as much incomplete as possible, but we'll have this $50 season pass that has all the cool content. They think that we're stupid enough, or that is fair enough to fly under the radar, that they can push another $50 out of us to basically get the game. You see, when people defend these games and say like, oh, this microtransaction store is good. It's not necessary. Or you don't have to take part in it. They're thinking of the people who made this game as their buddies, they're gamers, they're friends, but they're not. They're those stingy business assholes. Every dollar you spend in a paid video game, which you already paid for, on map packs, on microtransactions, doesn't go to your buddies, your gamer friends that are making the game. It goes into the pocket of those smug business mentality assholes that sit there and will tell those VIP executives how best to rip up your game and sell it off in fractions. You're not giving your money to the game company. Well, technically you are, but all that money you're giving to them, I want you to imagine putting it into that dude's pocket, possibly while he's raping someone, possibly your mother, because that's what these kind of people are. These are the kind of people who are like, oh yeah, we'll set up a game just so, or this microtransaction store just so that you would spend more and more money until you get bankrupt. That's the kind these people don't care if you get bankrupt. That's the kind of people that are running your games today. And whenever you sit there and defend them, that's who I see you defending. Whenever you defend someone like that, or defend microtransactions, or defend map packs, or defend all this, true, you're getting more content. More content that you want from a game you love, made by people who also love the game, but you're just giving them money to the corporate assholes. That being said, I do enjoy some paid content in the games. And, I mean, some of the content's pretty great. But I am wary as hell before I buy it. I do not want to give the company any more money. Because, see, that's what these business people teach them. The business people teach them that why settle for only $60 when you can have $300? Which is the potential out of a game that has microtransactions and DLC. And you see, the games are profitable after the first $60 you give them. They're gonna make their profit. They just want to get more money out of you. Not for, making new video games. Not for being like a budget for the next video games. Sure, some of it does go there. But just so they can line their pockets more and more. And the people in charge of doing this are people whose sole purpose in life is to empty your wallet. These corporate business jerkwads. Anyways, that's my point. Hope I didn't take too much out of your time out of the day to listen to me whine and complain about business people. But, the more you know. By the way, I love Diablo 3. This game's great. And I'm having hella fun with it. It's really great because it doesn't have any microtransactions. And they keep on releasing free content. So, without further ado, I love you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.